In a small town nestled between sprawling fields and towering mountains, life moved at a gentle pace. The streets were lined with familiar faces, and the scent of freshly baked bread wafted from the local bakery. Every morning, townsfolk gathered at the diner for coffee and laughter, sharing stories that bound them together like a tightly woven quilt. Children played in the dusty streets, while neighbors waved to each other from their porches, creating an atmosphere of warmth and safety. This town thrived on its strong community bonds. Festivals celebrated the changing seasons, bringing everyone together to dance, eat homemade pies, and enjoy games. People took pride in helping one another. If someone needed a hand with chores or a listening ear, they knew their neighbors would be there. However, beneath this peaceful exterior lay an unspoken understanding: all was not perfect. Tensions simmered when trouble arose, and the arrival of a horse thief shook the town to its core. As rumors spread like wildfire, so did fear and anger. The once harmonious community now faced a challenge that would test their values and unity like never before. The tranquility of their lives had been disrupted, setting the stage for difficult choices ahead. The calm of the town shattered one fateful evening when young Billy Thompson, a boy known for his mischievous spirit, was caught stealing horses from old Mr. Jenkins' stable. Under the cover of darkness, he led two beautiful mares away, thinking it would be a harmless adventure. However, his plan swiftly unraveled when Mr. Jenkins noticed the horses were missing and raised the alarm. The news spread through the town like wildfire, igniting shock and disbelief. Billy was not just any boy, he was the son of a single mother who struggled to make ends meet after losing her husband. Many townspeople had watched him grow up, and they felt a mix of anger and compassion. As they gathered at the diner, discussions turned heated, revealing deep divisions within the community. Some believed that Billy deserved punishment for his crime, while others argued that he needed guidance rather than revenge. The incident split opinions down the middle, shaking the foundations of trust among neighbors. With each passing hour, fear grew that this act would lead to further chaos. The unity the town once cherished was now tested as residents began to choose sides, leaving everyone to wonder what would happen next. As tensions rose in the town, Deputy Sam Collins found himself at the center of the storm. Known for his fairness and unwavering commitment to justice, he had always been respected by the townspeople. With a strong sense of right and wrong, Sam understood the importance of community trust, and he prided himself on being a beacon of hope during difficult times. However, this situation was different. Billy Thompson's actions had ignited fierce emotions, forcing Sam to confront a tough decision. He knew that if he enforced strict punishment, it might satisfy some residents but also deepen the rift within the community. Conversely, showing leniency could be seen as undermining the law. As he sat in his office, papers scattered around him, Sam pondered the consequences of each choice. He remembered watching Billy grow up, recalling his bright smile and playful spirit. The boy's mother needed support, not punishment. Yet, how could he protect her son while keeping peace in a town on the brink of chaos? With bullets of doubt swirling in his mind, Sam realized that whatever choice he made would have lasting effects on both Billy's future and the community's fragile unity. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily on his shoulders as he prepared to face the townsfolk. As the town grappled with the fallout from Billy Thompson's actions, frustration and anger simmered just beneath the surface. The whispers in the diner grew louder, fueled by worry and a sense of betrayal. Many residents, feeling that justice wasn't being served, began to band together. It started as small gatherings in back rooms, where neighbors shared their feelings about law and order. Soon, these discussions transformed into plans for taking action. Among them was a group of 7 men, all local farmers or tradesmen, who branded themselves as vigilantes. They believed that allowing Billy to escape punishment would invite more trouble into their community. Determined to protect their homes and restore order, they decided to confront Deputy Sam Collins. With shotguns slung over their shoulders, they gathered outside the jailhouse, ready to impose their idea of justice. Their anger boiled over as they expressed their discontent with the deputy's indecision. "He needs to pay for what he's done," one shouted, while another added, "If we don't act now, who knows what will happen next. The tension was palpable as the vigilantes waited, demanding that the deputy make a choice, before chaos consumed the town entirely. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the town, the atmosphere outside the jailhouse grew thick with tension. The 7 vigilantes stood shoulder to shoulder, their shotguns gripped tightly in their hands. Faces set in grim determination, they exchanged glances filled with urgency and resolve. With each passing minute, their frustration bubbled to the surface like a simmering pot about to boil over. "Where is the deputy?" one of them barked, pacing restlessly. The others murmured in agreement, frustration etched on their features. They were convinced that action was needed now, waiting felt like surrendering to chaos. The sound of distant footsteps echoed down the street, raising hopes momentarily, only for disappointment to wash over them as they realized it was just a passerby. As twilight deepened, so did the weight of their decisions. They felt empowered but also burdened by the consequences of their planned actions. While they believed they were protecting their community's values, they also understood that crossing this line could lead them down a dark path from which there might be no return. Their hearts raced as they braced for any sign from Deputy Collins, knowing that justice or violence would soon unfold in this small town square. Inside the jailhouse, Deputy Sam Collins sat at his desk, his mind racing with conflicting thoughts. He could hear the muffled voices of the angry vigilantes outside, their demands growing louder and more urgent. The weight of his badge felt heavier than ever as he grappled with his duty to uphold the law against the growing pressure from the mob. Sam believed in justice, true justice that considered not just the crime but also the circumstances surrounding it. He couldn't shake the image of young Billy Thompson's face from his mind, a boy caught in a moment of poor judgment rather than a hardened criminal. But the townspeople were stirred up, and their anger was palpable. They wanted action, and they wanted it now. As he stared out the window, watching shadows dance under the streetlights, Sam felt torn between maintaining order and catering to a crowd that sought retribution. If he refused to act according to their demands, would they see him as weak? Yet if he gave in to their anger, would he betray everything he stood for? With every passing moment, Sam knew that whatever choice he made would shape not only Billy's fate but also define his own legacy in this tight-knit community. With a deep breath, Deputy Sam Collins stood up from his desk and made his way to the door. The voices of the vigilantes outside were no longer just background noise, they had become a call to action that he could no longer ignore. As he stepped out of the jailhouse, the cool night air hit him, mingling with the palpable tension that hung over the gathering like a storm cloud. The sight of the 7 men, shotguns in hand and faces filled with anger and determination, sent a shiver down his spine. He knew these men were not inherently violent, but their frustration had reached a boiling point. "Hold on!" Sam called out as he approached them, raising his hand slightly to signal for calm. The crowd turned to face him, their expressions a mix of hope and skepticism. "I know you're all angry," he continued, his voice steady but firm. "But taking justice into your own hands won't solve anything." He felt the weight of their gazes as he defended Billy Thompson, reminding them that even a mistake deserved understanding. This moment marked a turning point not only for Billy but also for Sam himself as he stood up for what he believed was right, ready to protect both the boy and the values of their community. Deputy Sam Collins took a deep breath and stepped toward the vigilantes, his heart pounding but his resolve firm. He could sense the tension in the air as the group shifted, their shotguns lowering slightly in response to his presence. "Listen, everyone," he began, his voice steady and clear. "I understand your anger. You feel betrayed by someone you trusted, and you want justice for what Billy did." He paused, looking each man in the eye, gauging their reactions before continuing. "But justice doesn't come from revenge. It comes from understanding the situation and ensuring that we don't repeat the same mistakes." Sam gestured toward the jailhouse. "Billy may have made a grave error, but he is still a boy who needs guidance and support, not violence." The crowd murmured, uncertainty flickering across their faces. Sam pressed on, "If you act on your anger tonight, what message will that send? We will become what we despise. We must uphold our values and show that we are better than this. Let's find a way to handle this together, as a community, without spilling blood." His words hung in the air, challenging the vigilantes to reconsider their path as he hoped to steer them away from chaos and back toward unity. As Deputy Sam Collins finished speaking, a murmur swept through the crowd. Some of the vigilantes exchanged uncertain glances, the fire in their eyes dimmed by doubt. "Maybe he's right," one man whispered, lowering his shotgun slightly. "Billy isn't a criminal, he's just a kid." Others, however, remained unconvinced, tightening their grips on their weapons. "He stole from us," shouted another, his voice rising above the rest. "If we let him off easy now, what's to stop others from doing the same?" The debate intensified as voices clashed, with some men advocating for patience and understanding while others insisted on swift retribution. The air thickened with tension as tempers flared. Sam watched as two sides formed within the group, those willing to heed his call for justice tempered with compassion and those determined to demand punishment at any cost. He could feel the precariousness of the moment. If he didn't act quickly, a spark could ignite into chaos. With adrenaline coursing through him, Sam took a step back, allowing them space to express their views. "Let's talk this through," he urged, hoping that reason could bridge the divide before anger could lead them down a path of violence they would all regret. As the heated debate continued, Deputy Sam Collins took a step closer to the crowd, his voice calm yet firm. "I know emotions are running high," he said, attempting to connect with their frustrations. "But what happens tonight will affect our community for years to come. Let's choose a path that shows who we really are." The weight of his words began to resonate with some of the vigilantes. One of the men slowly spoke up, "We just want to protect our town. It's hard to see a thief get away with it." Sam nodded empathetically, recognizing that their concern stemmed from a place of love for their homes. "Your feelings are valid," he replied earnestly, "but anger won't heal this situation. If we resort to violence, we will only create more pain and division. We need to come together as a united front and show that we can be better." Gradually, heads began to nod in agreement. Voices softened as reason started to take hold over rage. With a final appeal for unity, Sam urged them to stand down peacefully. One by one, the vigilantes lowered their shotguns and began to disperse, realizing that understanding and empathy could prevail over vengeance in their tight-knit community. The night echoed with cautious hope as order returned to the town square. As the dust settled after the confrontation, the town began to reflect on what had transpired. The night's events had shaken many from their deeply held beliefs about justice and punishment. Neighbors who had once favored swift retribution started to see the value in forgiveness and understanding. Billy Thompson, the young boy at the center of it all, became a symbol of hope rather than just a thief in their eyes. In the following days, conversations buzzed around the diner tables and front porches, as families discussed how they could come together to prevent similar situations. Many began to question whether their previous thinking had been too harsh, realizing that anger often clouded judgment. Instead of focusing solely on punishment, they started exploring ways to support troubled youth within their community. Deputy Sam Collins became a figure of admiration for his courage to stand up for compassion, prompting others to follow his lead. The event sparked discussions about establishing mentorship programs for young people, ensuring that mistakes could lead to growth rather than condemnation. Ultimately, this moment not only changed perceptions of justice but also deepened the bonds within the town, reminding everyone that empathy could guide them toward a brighter future. In the weeks following the tumultuous night, a remarkable transformation took place within the small town. The incident surrounding Billy Thompson not only shifted individual perspectives but also rekindled a collective spirit that had been dimmed by fear and anger. Neighbors, once divided, found common ground as they shared their stories and reflected on their values. They recognized that maintaining peace required more than just enforcing rules, it demanded compassion and understanding. Community meetings blossomed, where residents gathered to discuss how best to support young people like Billy. Plans were put in place for mentorship programs, bringing together older and younger generations to build relationships and foster trust. The town's diner became a hub for these discussions, filled with laughter and renewed hope as families embraced the idea of nurturing guidance over harsh punishment. Deputy Sam Collins emerged as a respected figure whose actions inspired others to stand up for empathy rather than vengeance. His commitment to justice without aggression left an indelible mark on the community's conscience, reminding everyone of their shared responsibility in shaping a safe and kind environment. Ultimately, this event united the town, reinforcing their dedication to peaceful living and highlighting the strength found in togetherness, proving that even dark moments can lead to brighter paths ahead.